Klingman with Duplantis Design Group, and David Boudreaux is one of the engineers, both working on the project. David's going to be my wingman working the computer. So what I wanted to do today is just kind of give you a general overview of what the project is going to consist of. So I'll basically go through, start at Highway 1, where we're going to start on the project, and go all the way to St. Patrick, and just kind of explain what's going to be happening. After I go through that, David Boudreaux is going to go through the construction phasing. He'll kind of explain where they're going to start, what the phases are that they're going to go through during construction. And that'll kind of give you an idea of how this whole process is going to go from start to finish. Okay, so just to start, basically the project starts on the south side at Highway 1 in Canal Blvd. And it's going to extend all the way to St. Patrick. So that's the limits of the project. The project is going to, consist of that area. Starting down on Highway 1, there's kind of 4 different segments. When I say segments, kind of how I break it up in the project. From Highway 308, right here, obviously this is Canal. This would be Highway 308. So from Highway 308 all the way down to Ramsey Drive here. That area currently, as we all know, is a 4-lane median divided boulevard. It's going to stay that way. It's going to stay 4-lane median divided. What will happen is we will get a new signal at Highway 308. We will also get, it's not shown on here, but on Highway 1, we're going to get a brand new signal at Highway 1 and Highway 308. We'll get a brand new signal at Thibodaux, and then we'll also get a brand new signal on Ramsey Drive. As per DOT requirements, all the new signals are going to be mast arm signals. I know not everybody, might know what a mast arm is, but if you can envision a traffic signal, there's 2 poles with a string in between, and you've got the lights hanging on. That's old school. That's DOT doesn't do that anymore. So now it's going to be the nice metal poles with the with the arm going over there. They do much better during hurricanes, as we all know. They look a lot nicer. So all the signals that are along this stretch are going to get replaced. All of the median openings and the turn lanes and the median cuts that are there right now are going to stay. Since that portion of the road exists as a 4-lane median divided, it's going to stay like that. Okay, so that's the first section. And then the next section is from Ramsey Drive here down to, and it's, I don't want to zoom out too far, but from Ramsey Drive down to Amblesett Park. That's the area where everybody knows we've got the 2 lanes and the suicide lane. So what's going to happen there is it's going to get widened. It's going to get widened to a 4-lane median divided boulevard section, very similar to what we have between 308 and Ramsey. So that'll get widened. As far as access points, right now we have a suicide lane, so you can basically access wherever people can come in, clash, hit head on. I mean, we all know how that goes. So what's going to happen is we are going to have median openings, but those median openings are going to be U-turn only. That's, there's a difference, and that's going to be the thing that's going to be a little bit, different that, we're all going to have to get used to. But as you can see here, this is Ramsey just off the page. This is the little shopping center. I think it's Fantastic Sam's is in there. That turn is going to stay because that's currently existing, and that's actually a 4-lane section right now. So as you go down, you'll see we have these little U-turns and these median cuts. This is going to be a southbound U-turn here. You'll have a northbound U-turn here. Now, when we get to Melrose Drive and the Walmart driveway, the signal that is currently there is no longer going to be there. And I know that's going to be a little different, but what we've got is what we call an R-cut intersection. I know it's probably a new term to everybody, but basically what an R-cut is as you're approaching this intersection, you can make a left in only. So northbound, you can make a left in to get to Walmart. Coming southbound, you can make a left in to go to Melrose Drive. The traffic pattern or the movement that gets cut off is Melrose Drive going across to Walmart. So that movement will no longer be allowed. What you'll have to do if you're coming from Melrose Drive is you'll have to come up, make a right-hand turn. David, can you pan it down a little bit? You'll have to make a right-hand turn, come here, make a U-turn, and then come back to Walmart. So that's a big change, I know, from what we're all used to. But, again, a lot of this, and I'll kind of step back a minute and just explain, and you know, if anybody has some detailed questions, which I'm sure y'all will, you know, once we kind of break from here and go and we can talk, you know, face to face over at the maps. A lot of this, or not a lot of it, but basically all of this, you know, the new U-turns, no, you know, wide open, full access, unsignalized medians, that is part of DOTD's new access management policy in their design manual. That's what DOTD has gone to on all highways. So really, you know, y'all are going to start seeing this. This isn't something that's going to be isolated to Canal Blvd and Thibodaux. This is something that DOTD is implementing, you know, across the state. It's their new design manual, their new policy. So again, it's something that you'll be seeing a lot more of as time goes on. So moving on from Melrose Drive, again, you can see where we have the U-turns, you know, here as we go down and we get to Glenwyle. Glenwyle will be improved pretty significantly. We'll have a new traffic signal at Glenwyle. In addition, you know, right now, as y'all know, you can make a left turn, obviously, from Canal onto Glenwyle, but we're actually going to add dual left turn lanes going northbound. So what that means is, as you're going northbound on Glenwyle, you actually have 2 dedicated left turn lanes, so that you can, you know, you can take on Glenwyle and get back to Lowe's and, you know, go down the 40 Orbit Road. And then in order to take those dual lefts and go up Glenwyle, we're actually going to have to do some pretty significant improvements to Glenwyle. So Glenwyle will get widened out on the west side of Canal Blvd, and then we're also going to do some improvements on the east side. We're going to add, you know, some more turn lanes and basically make it a more efficient intersection. But, you know, one of the things we actually had to, you know, do a lot of work to keep the intersection signalized at Glenwyle. You know, as part of the design manual, there are certain requirements, part of DOTD's design manual, there are certain requirements that you have to meet in order to get, you know, a signal. And we were able to meet those requirements. So, you know, that was one of the things that we knew was really important. And there's a lot of things that are important on here, but keeping that full access at Glenwyle and that signal was something that we knew really, really needed to happen. And we were able to work that out. All right, so moving on to the north, you know, again, you can just see here, this is a southbound left turn lane that's going to come to Glenwyle. And then we actually go down on the page, and it's kind of more of the same, you know, just the 4-lane, median divided. We've got U-turns. Here's St. Delphine. I think this is Chasson Eye Care Center, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay, and then here's the church. So we'll keep going down, more U-turns. I think, what's the minimum spacing, David, between the U-turns?
1/4 mile.
So 1/4 mile is based on DOTD's, you know, design guidelines. That's how far apart you want to separate the U-turns. Fire station here, we do obviously fire station, you know, for emergency purposes. We provide them direct access. We don't want when a fire happens. We don't want the fire truck to have to go down and then, you know, turn around. And that's, so we are allowed to provide direct access there. Okay, so continuing north. All right, when we get to Amblesett Park here, this is kind of the last segment of the project. Again, this is where, as we all know, it goes back out and widens to, you know, 4-lane section. So again, similar to what we did down between 308 and Rienzi, DOTD's policy allows you, since it currently exists, we can keep all the median openings that are there now. So basically what happens here, you know, similar to, like I said, down at 308 and Rienzi, all of the curbing gets replaced on this section and the road gets milled and overlaid. So you can see it pretty much stays how it currently exists. And then the last part of the project here is going to be at St. Patrick. I think everybody knows the dangers of passing by St. Patrick. So we are going to do some improvements to try to make that a much safer intersection. So what's going to happen if you are coming southbound on Canal Blvd or Highway 20, instead of, you know, having somebody trying to make a, you know, turn out of here, and then you've got somebody coming down, they want to make a right-hand turn, so they're stopping, and then you got the guy behind you that can't wait, so he wants to shoot over and try to pass, and there's just so many different movements going on. It really is just, it's a very unsafe scenario. So if you're coming southbound and you want to take a right turn onto St. Patrick, you'll get into this new right turn lane that we're going to add, and you can go down. If you're going southbound, continuing southbound, you stay in this lane. Okay, so we've basically, eliminated that ability for those people to, try to scoot past the guy that's going too slow in front of them. Then the other thing that we're gonna do here, going northbound, the 2 lanes, if you're in the left lane, you're gonna have to make a left-hand turn on the St. Patrick. If you need to go northbound, you just stay in the right turn, or rather in the right-hand lane, and you can go on. And then the other good thing that we're gonna do here is if you're coming down St. Patrick and you wanna take a left and go to Chack Bay, you can take that left and you can enter this, what we call an acceleration lane. It's similar to what they have at Highway 182 and Highway 90. It's very effective, it works. I know it looks a little funny and it's a little, it takes a little getting used to, but it works and it's much safer. So that's what we'll end up having at this intersection after this is complete. So, okay, so that is basically, kind of going through the whole project. Can't remember if I mentioned this or not, but the whole section from Highway 1 all the way up to St. Patrick, the road's going to get milled and overlaid, so it'll be brand new asphalt, nice black, shiny, smooth asphalt, which we don't have right now. All the curbing also is going to get replaced. All the old curbing is going to come out, new curbing is going to get put in place. Y'all all know there's sections of the curbing along, like near Thibodaux that, it's not even there anymore. We all know what that looks like. So everything's going to be nice, new, replaced. Going back to Thibodaux, Lucy and I were talking about this the other day. If you're coming across from Rouse's, going across, you feel like your car is going to shake apart because it's so bumpy. A lot of that's